There we go. Okay, well, I am signed up to run the Rock and Roll Half Marathon in Mexico City in December, so that's just a few weeks away, month and a half or so. And I've also done something a little bit different this time in my preparations for a race, and I've been using the Garmin Coach. And I'm in week 7 of a 14-week plan to prepare myself for that race. And so I thought I'd do a little update and explain, what my experience has been like using the Garmin Coach up to this point. And I also just recently purchased a new camera, the DJI Osmos Nano, and I'm going to go ahead and use both this camera, on my head here, and my Insta360 X4 to get some footage of today's run. It's going to be a really easy run today. On Sunday I did my long run, and today's just a short, easy run at a really slow pace. Try to keep it in zone 2, which means I'll probably be creeping up into zone 3 for about half the time anyway. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and record today's run. It's just a short one, and talk about what my experience has been like so far using the Garmin Coach plan. Okay, I'm off. Just do a little warm-up here for the first 5 minutes, according to the plan. And my warm-ups when I leave from home are a little difficult because I live on a ridge overlooking San Miguel de Allende. And the little community that I live in is just down the ridge a little bit. So to get up to the main road where I usually begin my runs, I have a fairly steep uphill run. It hasn't started quite yet, but it's really hard to get up that hill running and still keep my heart rate and breathing down to where it should be for just what would be a warm-up. So yeah, it probably won't show up that much in the video, but yeah, in about another 100 yards or so, I'm going to be going up a fairly steep uphill. Oh, there's this doggy saying hi to us. Okay, all right, so there we go. Okay, so let's take a look at this Garmin app. Let's go to open up my Garmin, and let me go ahead and get back to the home page here. Whoops. Okay, so this is my Garmin home page. You can see I had a fair night of sleep last night. Let's see. So what you need to do to set up your plan, your training plan, is to click down here where it says More. Let's go back to home. Okay, click down here in the lower right-hand corner where it says More, and then go to Training and Planning. And then it will pop up and it says Garmin Coach Plans. Click on that. And then, as you can see, this is what I've already got set up. This is my plan, my half marathon plan. And you can choose between, when you set it up, they've got 3 different coaches you can choose from. One is a little more sort of taking it easy, maybe for a first-time runner, something like that. And then there's another one that's for, a more advanced runner and a little more aggressive training. And then there's Greg here, seemed to be sort of like the medium. And since it's been a long time since I've done any serious racing, I sort of went with the medium plan, and I've sort of set everything up in a very conservative way. Okay, so I'm on a dirt road right now, which is one of my favorite routes to take when I'm doing my runs. It keeps me away from most of the traffic and other pedestrians, and I'm pretty much free to do my own thing. The only problem is
when a car or something does pass me on this dirt road, it raises a lot of dust that I get to inhale. So yeah, but and you know, the terrain is a little rough too, so I gotta watch my step when I'm on this dirt road.
Okay, so but you can, there's a little thing here that says find a plan, and if you click on that, which I can't do right now because I already have my plan set up, I would have to undo this plan in order to set up another plan, because obviously you can't be training on 2 training plans at the same time. So let me go ahead and click on that just to show you. So it's telling me that I want to quit my current plan, and heck no, I don't, because I'm halfway through it already. So let's cancel that. And then evidently at one point I set up a plan before, maybe many years ago. I think it was a marathon plan. Actually, I think let me click on that. It was in 2015. Evidently, I was planning on running a marathon, and started to set this up. And I don't think I ever even did the first thing, and I just never really followed through on it. But it's telling me that I've got a completed plan, but I never did it. So yeah, I don't know why. So I must have done it and then just ignored it. Set it up and then ignored it. But anyway, I set it up. And when you set it up, it will ask you questions like, first of all, like, which coach do you think you want training you? And I chose Greg here. You can see his little photograph right here on the camera. And then it also asks you, it'll ask you, what kind of race are you preparing for? Is it a 5K, 10K, half marathon, whatever? And obviously I chose a half marathon. And then it asks for the date. When is the date? And it just so happens that it was just a little over 14 weeks before the race when I set this up. So I think it would have given me an option to have a little bit longer training plan, maybe up to 16 weeks or longer, possibly. But because I was this close to the race, I think my only choice was to do a 14-week plan, which is what I did. And then it also asks you what your goal pace is. Now, when I set this up, I said I want to be really conservative. And now Garmin has race predictors. And the race predictor, according to Garmin, for me to run a half marathon actually is 2 hours and 8 minutes, which isn't a great time, but it's since I haven't done any racing, serious racing in many years, and I don't really think that's possible. And when I first set this up, I was thinking that 2.5 hours probably would be a reasonable time. So when I first set it up, I set it up for 2.5 hours, and after the first couple of weeks of training, I switched it. I moved it up eventually to 2 hours and 26 minutes, and I think twice I've changed it. So it will allow you to change it. If you want to change something, you just click up here where the 3 dots up in the right hand corner, and you can go to edit and click edit, and it will let you change a number of things. Okay, so I can change. You can set it up by a time goal, run with a time goal, which I've done, and so the last time I changed it to 2 hours and 18 minutes. And if things keep going the way they are with my training, I'm probably going to reduce that time a little bit more, maybe get it down to 2:15 or something like that. I think it only allows you to do it in increments of 2 minutes though, so maybe it would be either 2:14 or 2:16. I'm not really. Let me click on that and see. So it's every 2 minutes. So I could either go to 2:16, 2:14, something like that. But right now, like I said, I'm being really conservative, so I'm going to keep it here at 2:18. And I can change my coach too if I want. So here's the other coaches. The Jeff Galloway one, that's for really an easy plan for beginners. And then Amy Parkinson Mitchell, she has the most aggressive plan. So when I want.
Hey, turtle, little turtle. Here we go. He tucked his head in. Let's see if we can get a better picture of him. Hey, buddy. Yeah, you're going to keep that head in there, aren't you? Oh, well.
Aggressive plan. So, and I went with the middle ground with Greg McMillan here. So, I chose him. So, there's his video. We don't need to watch that. So, let's go back. Okay, so I still have Greg in there. And then days available. It asks you how many days are you available to run. And I said I'm available any of those days. And so, that's one of the nice things about being retired and not being employed and on somebody's time clock. I'm available any day. And then it asks you what day you want to do your long run. And I said Sunday because, I don't know, why not? I could have picked any day I wanted, but I said Sunday. And then the race, it asked me what race I'm going to be doing. And it's the Mexico City Rock and Roll Half Marathon. And let's click on that and see what it says. So it let me put in like my website, so I can click there and go to the website to get information. And right now they haven't released where the expo is going to be, where you for packet pickup and expo. And so I'm keeping an eye on the website. I checked it yesterday and they still hadn't posted where it's going to be, but I can just click right there and go right to the website. And then it's got the starting time. It's going to start at 6:30 a.m. and of course it's in Mexico City. So it has all this information. And all right. So and it asks you how many workouts you want to do per week. You can either do 4 or 5. Like I said, I was being conservative, and I'm older now. I just want to make sure one of my top goals is just to accomplish all of this without having any injuries. So I've given myself 3 rest days. I could have chosen 5 here if I wanted to, but I chose 4, and so I'm running 4 days a week. And then it's got the date of the race right there. So yeah, I'm not going to change anything because I set it up the way I wanted it the first time. And now it will give you. Here's one of the. I don't know if it's a limitation. Maybe it's better that you can't really look too far into the future. But when you go to workout schedule, well, first of all, right here, it shows all the workouts that I've already completed right here. And I'm scrolling down, and it starts down. The very first one is like a benchmark run that they want you to do, and I did that real conservative. And in fact, I ran my benchmark slower than I had just run like a week or so earlier. I'd run a 5K, and I actually ran my benchmark, which was less than a mile, I think, at a slower pace than I ran that 5K, just because I wanted to keep things, nice and simple for me. And then these are all the various workouts that I've run so far through the first 6 weeks and now into the week 7. And so there they are. And then so this 9.3. This was last Sunday when I did a long run and at a very slow pace. I think my average pace was that seems. Actually, I probably ran that faster than I should have, which is what I do a lot of the times.
So this is the spot along my run where a few weeks ago I took a trip, maybe over a stone or something like that, or maybe it was that turtle we saw back there, but something I tripped over about a month ago, I think it was, and took a pretty good fall.
A lot of times, 11 minutes and 18-second pace, but that actually includes a 15-minute warm-up and a 15-minute cool down where I was running quite a bit slower. So when I was out running, in fact, let's go ahead and click on it because it'll here at the top it sort of shows the route that I had run right there, so you can review your running route if you want to. And then I went 9.3 miles, and then my average heart rate was 113, which is good. So even though my average pace was much higher than it really should have been at least 45 seconds slower than that. But it is what it is. And I was out there for an hour and 45 minutes, and evidently it's guessing that I burned 111 calories. And then it asks you to sort of rate how you felt about your thing, and I said it was somewhat hard. So let's click on that. So it lets you, I told them that, I was feeling normal, wasn't necessarily feeling, super like a Superman that day, but I wasn't feeling weak. I just was feeling kind of normal. And then I gave it a 4 rating. I guess it's like a 1 to 10, and a 4, which was somewhat hard. And typically on these things, I've actually been giving it a 3 rating, which is moderate. But I'm not really quite sure how those things are supposed to work. Okay, let's go. Oh, cancel that because I don't want to change it. Okay, so so it will let you do that, and then you can go up here and it will show you what your intervals were. So I had like a warm up. Oh, evidently it was just a 5-minute warm up. I'm sorry, 5-minute warm ups. So I ran 11:09 as an average pace for an hour and 35 minutes altogether. And then the cool down wasn't that much slower. But my warm up, going up that hill and everything in the beginning, I do that really nice and slow. So that was like 14 minutes and 26 seconds. So those were how my intervals were. And then you can see the charts, and then it will show you, it'll give you this little, almost looks like a soccer goal net here, and then right before that is your warm up, and then right after that is your cool down period, and then your actual running is up here. And as you can see, I was running most of the time, quite a bit faster than I was really supposed to be running. But I was feeling good, and whatever. It's really hard for me to do this zone 2 running stuff, but it is what it is. In fact, my fastest pace was 8 minutes and 57 seconds, evidently, maybe like right there or whatever. Maybe I was going down a little hill or something. Who knows? And then my heart rate, like I said, the average heart rate was 113, and the maximum was only 127. And that's another thing with Garmin. I take everything with a grain of salt, because I think what it's probably doing when it's giving me my heart rate zones and things like that, it's calculating my maximum heart rate, and they say, take 220 minus your age, which would, make my maximum heart rate supposedly 149. But I know my maximum heart rate is higher than that, because I've actually had it higher than that, when I'm out, doing something really strenuous. So I think the heart rate zones, once we get down to there, I think they probably should be, that's probably one reason why I have a hard time keeping it maybe in zone 2, and I keep creeping up to zone 3. But it will tell you, how much of it was aerobic and anaerobic. And elevation, yeah. Since I live here at elevation here in San Miguel de Allende, my home, which is where I start, is typically the lowest point, is at 6,617 feet. And then I go up and down a few, nothing too crazy, but I do get up to 6,713 feet. And then it sort of, gives you a little map of where it is. Actually, there's a little low point. I must somewhere on the route go down and then right back up to somewhere along the way. I don't even know where that would be on my route that I ran that day. But, okay, and then cadence, that's another thing. My average cadence is usually right around 180, which I might talk about a little bit about later, because my next race is telling me to pick up my pace to, that range, and I'm already there, so I'm not really sure what that's all about. And stride length, it'll measure your stride length. And, I'll bet you that little peak right there where I had that peak in my pace up there, it's in roughly the right spot. So I bet you I went down a little hill there or something, which is what caused that. And then vertical ratio, I'm not really quite sure, how to interpret all that data and what all that means. But there it again, at the same spot where I was on that, for whatever reason my pace picked up, I've got a little spike right there too. So, yeah, I'm not an expert on all these things. So, yeah, if there's somebody out there, that's still listening to me, because I'm probably, if somebody really knows all this stuff, I'm probably just boring you to death, because you're thinking, yeah, I know this stuff. But for a newer runner who's just thinking about doing these things, hopefully this will be of interest to you. So in every one of these things, there's a little thing right there, and then this shows you how much walking versus running versus idle, standing still. And obviously, from the moment I took off, I didn't stop running the whole time. I no walking or anything like that. Okay, so now here's my heart rate zones, and I did indeed stay in zone 2 most of the time, but as you can see, I did creep up into zone 3 for about 45% of the time. So there's all of that, and then it will also let you keep track of your gear. Right now, I'm doing my base miles and the Brooks Ghost. So I've got other shoes in here. I could change that if I wanted. I've got my Hoka's in there, and I've taken all my other shoes out because these are the only 2 shoes that I'm running in right now. So, all right, let's go back to all that. So now, the runs themselves, let me go ahead and the next run, which is what I'm going to be doing tomorrow, right there, says it's at goal pace. So I'm not even sure what they're saying my goal pace is now, since I've, this is going to go up because I did just change it to 2:18. I think my goal pace right now is supposed to be more like 10:30, something like that. But I'll be doing a 15-minute warm-up tomorrow. So I'll be running easy for, especially that first part up that hill. And then 20-minute, it gives me 20 minutes where I'm supposed to be running at my race pace, which actually is going to be a little bit faster than that, because I just changed it to 2:18, and it doesn't change the workouts that's already been uploaded in there, and then it's got another 10 minutes, which is giving you the option that if you don't feel like doing those last 10 minutes, it says that's an optional run. So far, whenever it's done that to me, which is most of the time, I haven't had any. I've run the whole thing, and then the cool downs. It's really, really, really hard for me to slow my pace down as slow as I did the warm up. So my cool downs, I try to slow it down a little bit, to where I'm, breathing easy and recovering, cooling down. But typically, even though I feel really relaxed, the cool down is usually quite a bit faster than my warm up pace. So there's that. Let's go back now. It will. Okay, my workout schedule. So let's click on that. So my next run. This is week 7. So this is the run that I did this morning, actually. It was an easy run, like I said, and I've completed it. And then this is the race the workout that we just looked at. And as you can see, it's a total, it'll tell you that it should take about 60 minutes to do that one. And then now on Friday, I've got some stride repeats, which I'm going to be doing. And so on that one, it's got me doing a 10-minute warm-up. And here's something that's a little bit confusing to me. Evidently, after I do the warm-up, because I've messed up, the last time I did strides, I think I sort of messed it up. Because evidently, after your 10-minute warm-up, it'll tell you your warm-up's done, but before you start your strides, evidently you're supposed to click the lap button to get it started. And then it gives you to do it. And now these are just really, really short ones. The other ones have been, much longer intervals. Well, maybe it was a different type of interval training. But this is only 20 seconds. But it wants me, here it is. It's saying run hard, increase your cadence by moving your feet more quickly. But it's telling me that should, right there, the cadence should be somewhere between 150 and 200. And I'm already running, 100 and 180, strides per minute. And so I think really, instead of increasing my cadence for those 20 seconds, I will just lengthen my stride to where I'm running at a much faster pace, and then a 45-second recovery, and I do that 12 times. It will have me doing that 12 times. And by the way, on my watch, it will give a little beep. It'll vibrate and give me a little beep when it tells me I'm going from one section into another. And then after I've done those 12, then I just do a 10-minute cool down. And so that's what I've got set up for Friday, and then a rest day. And then I've got instead of a long run next Sunday, it's got me doing a progression run where I start off, well, let's see what it's got me doing. I'm starting off at, at a 12 minute per mile pace, but then I go up to essentially what my race pace, that's going to be faster than my race pace for 10 minutes. Wait a minute, let's see. Yeah, so yeah, a 5-minute warm up, and then an hour at a 12 minute per mile pace, and then just 10 minutes at a 10:30 pace. So that 10:30 pace will, get me breathing pretty heavy, and because that's going to be faster than race pace, and then I've got a 5-minute run at 9:40. So yeah, this is going to be a good challenging workout for me on Sunday. Especially once I get to that 5 minutes at a 9:40 pace, I'll be huffing and puffing at the end of that, and then a 5-minute cool down. So now here's the deal. It will only, so this is week 7, and now for week 8, it's got the dates in there that I'm going to be running, and since I've already done the easy run this week, it is telling me I'm going to be doing an easy run next Tuesday. But for these other workout days, like a Wednesday, it just says stay tuned for details, and that's all it says for the rest of my schedule. So it only gives you a week advance notice of what your workouts are going to be. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I would kind of like to know, because I want to know, especially like right before I start my taper, if I can sort of guess, what my mileage and pace and everything's going to be, I'll feel like, yeah, okay, I think I'm doing what I need to do to meet my goals. But I'm just going to have to trust Garmin and Greg try again. Yeah, let's just go back. Okay, so yeah, that's sort of how everything works. And and I think it depending upon what watch you have, I think the way you do things with your watch, I think might be different from brands. Because I'm a big hiker, I've got the Instinct, and that's designed for hikers. And I think one that was more specifically running related might be a little bit easier to use with these things. But let me go ahead and talk a little bit about other things that the Garmin app. It's got you can go down here, and in addition to your training plan, you can click on performance stats. Oh, here's the race predictor I was telling you about. It's telling me that I should be able to do it in right now. It's saying I should be able to run a 2:08:32 half, and it's been so long since I've done anything, and the way I feel when I'm running, I'm thinking, maybe I could run a 2:08, half marathon, but it would be one of those deals where once I got to the finish line, I would probably collapse and maybe go into a coma or something. You've seen those videos of the people hitting the finish line and then just falling over. I think if I ran a 2:08, that would definitely be me. And so I'm thinking that right now, 2:15, or right now I've got my training set at 2:18, is something that I can realistically, expect to do. And in fact, when you the program was saying that it has my probability of success was extremely high. So I feel confident that I'll be able to do that. And I am going to be shooting. I'm gonna try to get as good a time as I can without going into a coma at the finish line. And it's saying that I should be able to run a 5K in 26:43. And here again, I think, yeah, maybe, but I would, be probably totally wasted at the finish line. So, so that's how all that works. And then on VO2 max, and here's another thing, that VO2 max, this is just sort of guessing. And, it's funny, I don't really know how this works out, because just, a few days ago I was up, in fact, let's go back to 4 weeks. It's saying that I'm at a 45 right now, but as you can see right back here, just couple weeks ago I was at 46. But it also can do your view your fitness age. So let's click on that. And right here, I guess everybody knows I'm 71 now. But according to this, it says my fitness age is 58. What all that really means, who knows? I guess maybe the average. I'd say that my fitness level is what the average 58-year-old is. I don't know exactly how they calculate that, but anyway. So my VO2 max right now is at 45, and evidently that puts me in the upper 5%. But the VO2 max, it's just sort of guessing it. And now this is what I've heard that you can do with these Garmin apps, is that you can actually go to a place and pay a bunch of money to have and then also, really getting a VO2 max going on their little treadmill and doing their thing where they hook you all up to all kinds of, things you breathe into while you're running, stuff like that. And you really do have to run until you're absolutely exhausted, like, hitting the finish line and going into a coma kind of thing. And, that's something I don't necessarily care to do. But evidently you can do that and then use that figure to calibrate your Garmin a little bit better. But from my perspective is, I don't know how accurate this is. Maybe I'm only a 38 or a 39 or something like that. But what I do find useful is looking at trends. And as long as if it's going up or hopefully not going down for an extended number of days, that as long as I'm going in the right direction, I feel like I'm doing things good. And the same thing is true for body mass, because you can go in here and there's health stats, and it'll give you your body fat level and all that stuff. And right now it's telling that mine is fairly high. Let's go for whatever reason. There's your fitness age again and everything. So, but my where is it? I think I got to click on weight, and then down here, yeah. So my body fat is saying it's 27.3. I kind of think that's kind of high. And here again, I think you can actually go someplace and actually have an accurate measurement, because it's just sort of guessing based upon a number of factors, I guess, of what it is. So I could, if I wanted to, go in and pay somebody to measure my body fat, and then go in and then plug it into Garmin, and it would sort of recalibrate everything. But here again, I just want to, if all of a sudden it started going up, I would say, hey, I got to, maybe watch my diet or something, or I don't know. Actually, I think what that might be more relevant to me is losing my muscle mass as I'm getting older. And so I think probably if I wanted to address that, I think maybe doing more resistance training maybe would cause that to go down. But here again, I don't know how accurate that figure is to begin with. So yeah, this is gives you a basic idea what how I'm using Garmin to keep track of my fitness, and but also the Garmin Coach to get myself ready for this race coming up in December, on December 14th in Mexico City here in Mexico. And hopefully, even though it's been, I don't even know how many years since I've run a half marathon, and hopefully it won't be too embarrassing for me. So there you go. I'll keep you up to date after I get closer to this race date. I'll do maybe probably a couple more videos between race day now and race day. So in the meantime, happy trails.